What's good, guys? This is Kid Achilles, and today we are back with more myths. In the last one we did a creation myth, birth of the gods, and I wanted to continue with that and lead into the birth of Athena. But before we get too far into things, do me a solid, go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if anyone's in the room with you, anyone's just nearby, go ahead and grab them, make them watch this video with you.
Sit your ass down!
And then you make them subscribe as well. But let's get into this. So there is a titaness by the name of Metis. You may remember Metis from the last video. Zeus went to her for help and she advised that he go talk to his mom before everything kicked off with the titanomachy. So a titaness isn't dissimilar from a goddess. So as a titaness, Metis's domain is good counsel, planning, cunning, and wisdom, which is why Zeus trusted her to counsel him through the titanomachy. So Zeus knows Metis as someone he can rely on, and not that it takes a whole lot, but Zeus gets the hots for her, which means bad news for Metis, unfortunately. So Zeus approaches her, makes it known what he wants to do, and she lets him know that she's not really interested. Let me rephrase actually. Zeus hounds her. She takes on all different forms of animals and beasts of varying shapes and sizes, all to no avail. In the end, Zeus catches her. And as a result of this unwarranted union, Metis becomes pregnant. And we're going to see pretty immediately why Zeus, being a dickhead, comes back to bite him in the ass. I said it. So now that Metis is pregnant, she and Zeus hear from an oracle that the baby is going to be a girl, and that if Metis is to conceive again, that she would bear a son who was fated to depose Zeus, just as he had done to his father Kronos, and just as Kronos had done to his father Uranus. Now this doesn't mean if Zeus has another child with Metis, just if she has another child in general. Now this presents a problem for Zeus. Metis isn't his wife, and so it would be very difficult for him to police what she's doing for the rest of eternity to make sure she doesn't have another child. So he gets an idea. One day he goes to pregnant Metis, sweet talks her onto this, really soft couch, tells her to kick her feet up and relax. And then he opens his mouth real wide and eats her, swallows her whole. Now, there is a version of this myth where he gets her to turn into a fly and then he eats her. Personally, I prefer the mental image of Zeus's mouth just unhinging and But anyway, can you imagine the audacity? This is exactly what he gets for being a rapist in the first place. But now when it's time to sally up for what he's done, he makes it someone else's problem again. So ultimately, Metis has pretty much had her immortality ended for no other reason than she was minding her business and doing what she could to help Zeus. And so she has to spend the rest of her immortality pretty much just living in Zeus's head, because he's consumed her. Right out of the gate, Zeus has pretty much already written the entire book on being a piece of shit. Kiss my ass. So, in due time, Zeus is walking along the beach of Lake Triton, which is in Libya. You may recognize that from the third video of the Jason series. That's when the Argo gets washed like 12 miles inland and the goddess Tritonus appears to Jason. But anyway, Zeus gets an absolutely raging headache.
Yo, man, my forehead is bumping, man.
And I mean, it's real bad. Big bad Zeus is wailing in agony. I mean, like brought to his knees by this headache. And here's what's going on inside of Zeus's head right now. Now, if you remember, Zeus swallowed Metis while she was pregnant. And so while in his head, she went through with that pregnancy and has been raising Athena in Zeus's head. And while raising her in there, she's made for her weapons and armor. And so now little Athena is inside of Zeus's head, banging her spear and shield together in order to give her dad a headache. And it is working. So Hermes hears his father crying and, being the swiftest of the gods, gets to him first and figures out what's wrong with him. And then somehow, using a wedge and a beetle, is able to kind of break through his skull, outmerges Athena in full battle armor, screaming. That's one version of it. My favorite version is when Hephaestus shows up with an axe and just splits the fucker's head open, and then outbursts Athena screaming with her spear and shield, and all that stuff. And that is the birth of Athena. So some cool stuff about Athena. The owl is her sacred animal. She is the goddess of wisdom, battle strategy. A lot of those things that we mentioned about Metis in the beginning, she's kind of inherited from her mother and taken over that realm. Now, Athena and Ares can't really be conflated in terms of war gods, because Ares is more of a god of just chaotic warfare. he rebels in battle, whereas Athena doesn't necessarily enjoy being in battle, but the strategizing part is really where she shines. A popular myth associated with Athena is that of Pallas. So when Athena is still a little girl, she has a friend by the name of Pallas. Pallas is a nymph, and so she's a minor god in her own right, but obviously not a god the way that Athena is. She's not a daughter of Zeus. She's not Olympian. I'm not sure who possessed me just then, but one day while they're having a fake battle, Athena accidentally kills Pallas. And so to honor her friend, she puts Pallas in front of her name, which is why she's also often called Pallas Athena. But yeah, that'll do it for today, guys. I'll definitely be back super soon with another myth. Like I said, I've really been having fun doing these, and there's a lot of ground to cover. Not necessarily going in any particular order while doing these, so if there's one that you want to see me cover next, as far as like the origin of certain gods and a few of their myths, then definitely let me know in the comments. You can also follow me over on Instagram, comment on posts there, and participate in the polls. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks for kicking it with me. This has been Kid Achilles, and I will see you next time.